Hey ladies and gents, welcome to my channel. Today's tea topic is the village of Dalton. I've been on pins and needles combing the YouTube streets for updates on the grand jury's decision to indict Mayor Tiffany Henyard. While looking for updates, I ran across Jedidiah channel. He mentioned during that live that he would be having special quests. Jedidiah has been a wealth of knowledge and resources when it comes to exposing corruption in Villa of Dalton and Thornton Township. I appreciate him being boots on the ground and keeping content creators in the know. As I was watching Jedidiah live, he announced that he had a guest and we would be shocked. When the formal mayor of Dalton popped on that screen, I was shocked. Yes, you heard me. Formal Mayor Riley popped on the stage, and the chat went crazy. The formal mayor had a lot to say. He didn't hold back and got right into addressing the corruption, namesakers, haters, Tiffany, and the trustees. He even spoke on how he met Jedidiah and ran him up out of town. You won't believe how it really went down. Riley ain't never scared. He was giving OG and old head vibes. The formal mayor said, "Put some respect on his name," as he ran down his resume. Let's hear what formal Mayor Riley had to say.
Mayor. And now we see her going through some similar accusations that have also led to a grand jury hearing testimony. How do you feel about that?
Well, I had some haters out there too, and some of those same haters are hating on her now. But I tell you, when Tiffany talks about respect, she never gave any respect. She refused to call me mayor and call me by my first name all the time, which is fine too. But also, she did the same thing to the attorney, calling him Murphy instead of Attorney Murphy. It's about respect, and so I guess she's feeling exactly what she gave out now.
Wow. So you feel like she's reaping what she sowed.
Yeah.
So when she was disrespectful to you, what were the things outside of not calling you your title and things like that? What are some of the things as a trustee you felt were disrespectful that against your administration?
Well, I think it was partly she wanted to create chaos and just disruption in the whole process, but it I just forced through it. I refused to get up and leave, and I wanted to rebut some of the things that she said in regards that were not true, but it's the same type of posture that she's in now as a mayor.
So y'all, Mayor Riley served as the mayor of Dalton from 2013 all the way to 2021. Correct me if I'm wrong in anything I say. But when you were the mayor, Jason House was a trustee, Stan Brown, Robert Hunt, Tiffany Henyard were four of the trustees. And in your tenure as mayor, you ran on a ticket with some of them that also brought in Andrew Holmes, Ed Steve, Tammy Brown.
That's correct.
So when you look at politics today, and these are people who at one point ran alongside you in your mayorship, are you proud? Do you like what do you feel about the current climate of politics in Dalton?
Well, I think honestly that I supported some people that I shouldn't have supported, but hindsight is gives you additional knowledge and stuff like that. But we can't change this history right now. But I think that really that people that if they have an interest in running politics and they get elected, they should really have the people's you know have people's interests in place first before their own.
Okay, completely. And I'm new to this interviewing thing, and so I guess my question would be to you: are you able to say some of those names that you kind of in hindsight regret running on the ticket with?
Um, One for sure is Andrew Holmes. And there was some outside intervention there. They wanted to have chaos in the village. And I'm not going to mention that person's name, but they're not here to defend themselves. But there was some outside intervention that some of these trustees were listening to cause chaos in the village of Dalton.
So okay, so Andrew Holmes being one particular, but are you proud of the current trustees who kind of stood up to Mayor Henyard like she did against you?
Well, I won't use the word proud, but you know, the trustees have an obligation to assist in running the village, and the mayor should run the things by the trustees to have them, approve certain purchases and especially expenses that are going out.
Okay.
I always tried, if I was using taxpayers' money, I always tried to use it as my own money, be modest, have my receipts, and also make sure that I'm cautious of how I spend the money and how much I spend. So you can't just go out there and say, hey, this is my piggy bank and I'm going to use it for personal use.
And you And I think I'm jumping around here again. I'm gonna do some videos and learn how to be an amazing interviewer. And I do appreciate. Thank you for being on here with me. You served from 1986 to 2000 as a state trooper.
I know I served from 1975 to 1986 on the state police.
And then what you do after that? The state turns off.
No, I had a business. I had a business along with the state police. Also, I had my insurance broker's license for 21 years.
Wow,
And
man, you telling me you was the state trooper before I was born? You said up until 1986?
yes,
God dang it.
I'm gonna say this: when I was on the state police, they weren't paying a lot of money, so I always had part-time jobs. I worked part-time security jobs, but at night I studied to get my insurance broker's license. So I had my insurance broker's license while I was on the state police, and while I had my insurance broker's license from 1976 to 1997.
Wow. And so that leads me to a question that I want to ask you. And so one of the issues that have been coming up in the current climate is about how Chief Lacey governs the police department. So the first question I would ask you is how connected should a mayor be to the inner workings of a police department?
Well, I tried to keep my hands off of the police department and let the chief run the police department. But if I saw some things that were right, I would talk to the chief about it and expect him to correct it. Now, when I came in as the mayor, one of the biggest things that the residents were saying, we never see the police. So I acted like I was still on patrol. I would drive around the village 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, different shifts, because different things happen on different shifts. Daytime, you have certain crimes. Afternoon, you have certain crime, and then there's a certain crime that happens within the 24 hours. So I tried to find out where the police were and what they were doing. And then I told the chief I wanted him to implement a daily activity report, which is what we did on the state police. You start out with your mileage, and then at the end of tour of duty, you call your mileage in, and then really find out how you actually patrolled out there. And you have to put down every activity that you receive, whether it's a domestic, whether it's an arrest you made or something like that, which would take away from your patrol time. But you can't take a squad car out and start at 100 miles on the dash and then bring it back with 105 miles on it. That means that you're not actively patrolling, depending on the activity that you've done for that shift.
Wow, you check mileage?
Yeah,
So you would literally patrol the streets at nighttime as the mayor?
I would go through the town at night, yes,
And
and I would find out where we had criminal activity. I would go in that criminal activity area, and I had a Ford Explorer, and that was actually like a police vehicle, and I would drive through the area, and it's the perception of police being patrolling. The police are patrolling. It's a perception of visibility. So I wanted to find out what was actually going on in town.
And so when you look at the current climate of policing in Dalton, there's this distrust and this vote of no confidence, I would say, for, or at least from the people that I've interacted with, for the current chief. And if you will answer it, I would wonder, do you feel, even in your resident now, do you feel that the police department is being ran properly? And do you have any feelings about Chief Lacey's rule of Dalton Police at this moment?
I think Chief Lacey is kind of overbearing, and he should do what the police chief does, and that's administration, and make sure that the troops are doing exactly what they should do. I don't think he's actually doing that.
Would he, if you were the mayor today, would Chief Lacey be the chief?
Negative, no.
He would not be the chief. And I ask you that because obviously, with a law enforcement background, you should know how a police department is ran. What do you? How do you think? What do you think about the officers under his staff? You think them? What do you? And this, I guess, would be speculatory, but do you? What do you think about their morale? Or have you seen officers? What is their morale like as officers under Chief Lacey?
Well, since I've left, they brought on several new officers. I don't know them, and I'm not sure how what type of experience they've had. But at any rate, I think that I'm not sure what the crime level is right now. I live in a pretty safe area. We don't have any incidents over here where I live at, but you got to actively patrol, and you have to stop cars and make sure you try to get these guns off the street. Guns do not get to areas without being mobile. So
Understood. Man, we've seen some crazy things. And so one of the things that Tiffany did accuse you of was outside of weaponizing the police department was about lack of transparency or how you spent money when you were the mayor. But what I just saw, or what we've seen in this since I've been here, is that there's been a threat of water bills not being paid, and police officers and vehicles being repossessed, and lawyers quitting because they're not getting paid. What is it? And I'm trying to figure out how do I ask this question? Is this what every mayor goes through as it relates to these same accusations, or Have you ever faced any of these issues of things being repossessed or water being cut off or lawyers quitting? Is this normal?
As far as lawyers being cut off, I have not went through that. You know, we had a excellent lawyer, John Murphy. He had a lot of municipal experience, and that's what I wanted when I came into office. Now, the mayor gets certain appointments, and they have to approve by the board. So the board needs to make a decision whether they want to approve the attorneys who are hired and things like that.
Okay. So the board is just as responsible for who's in these positions as the mayor. I get that. Does the board have any ability to push for the firing of people who've been cleared?
I would say so.
They do?
I would say so.
So are you saying you think that the trustees could be pushing for the firing of department heads that they don't agree with now?
I would say so.
And what does that process look like?
Well, as far as I think they can put a resolution in place and follow that resolution. And then, of course, if it's not what the mayor likes, she'll probably try to veto it. But and they'll probably go back and forth for a while. But I think the board push a little bit harder for resignations.
And I'm not going to hold you too much longer. I am going to give my partners an opportunity to ask questions if they got them, and we'll ask them within reason and respect, especially being a new broadcasting network and you making yourself available. But there is a couple things that I do want to ask if you'll help us with perspective. And I think that there are a lot of parallels as it relates to the accusations. The accusations, and we're not putting you on the stand, but this is what I want to ask you. So, Tiffany had Tiffany Cares Cancer Foundation. You had the Southland Cancer Foundation. You have the Development Court. She has a real estate company. Do you think that, and this is why I say it, because I've never been elected as a mayor. There are the things that she accused you of and the components to where she accused you. It looks like she's doing these very things.
It does.
It does. And so what is it? Can you make that make sense for a citizen? Because we don't know what it's like to become the mayor of Dalton. Why are these seemingly the plays? Or what is this?
I mean, it depends on what type of action you take. I had I won't say a lot, but I had people coming in at every meeting, board meeting, and hating on me. One of the things they accused me of trying to buy all the property in the village of Dalton. Well, when I left the state's attorney's office, I had retirement there, and I had retirement money saved. And at the time, there was a house in Dalton that was costing $7,000, $8,000, $15,000, $12,000. So I said, well, why not? Why should I not invest in Dalton? This is a business where I would have to travel 2 or 3 miles, 2 or 3 blocks to get to my office. And they hated on me and said, well, mayor's buying up everything in the village. I can't buy up everything in the village, but I am going to invest where I have a investment in. I had a house here in Dalton, and I saw the opportunity. We had outside investors coming in buying up everything. Why not invest where you live? So,
Okay.
one things when I got in office was trying to please everybody and make everybody like me, and that's not going to happen. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people from the previous administration that hate on you, mad because you got in, and you just try to do the best job you can. And if you don't know what you're doing, you ask somebody. Try to get as much information as you can and guidance from other mayors, because basically every mayor goes through the same thing. You may have 1,500 people in your town. Another town may have 300,000 people, but basically it's the same thing. Police, you got to have good police. You have a good administration. You got to listen to the people and serve the people.
Okay. And so you as a mayor, and I get that how relationships are being challenged, but what I think is interesting is this recall word. And so I think there was an effort to recall you. I think you was in the battle to recall some trustees, and now the city was in the battle to recall Tiffany. Nobody's ever lost their seat. Tiffany's recall went through. What is the recall process, and why doesn't it seem to really matter?
Well, sometimes politics plays a part of this. And, I tried to call Tiffany because of the way she conducted herself as a trustee. And I also tried to change the election process where we wouldn't have a primary and then 8 weeks later have a general. Why do we need 2 elections like that? Because it confuses people. And there's a certain person, I'm not going to mention the name, that wanted a primary and a general. Primary usually takes place in the wintertime, and it's harder to campaign in the wintertime. You go knocking on doors, people don't want to open the door. And then you have to turn right back around and continue to campaign for a general election 8 weeks later. So I put a referendum on the ballot to get rid of the primary. And also, I put a part of the referendum was to get rid of, I'm not sure, I don't remember right now. I think it was 2 or 3 trustees. Actually, I think it was 2 trustees. Try to even save the village money, because the village pays each trustee approximately $25,000 with medical which wound up being close to another $30,000 a year. So actually, probably over the term of the trustee, you would be saving close to $500,000. And the residents voted it down. You know, they said I was trying to control the board and stuff like that, which is what I was not trying to do. But you got to have a good consensus, and the board has to work with the mayor, and vice versa. So
that brings me to an interesting question here, because when I saw you, you said to me when we greeted, you said you remember when I was after you, or you said I remember something like that. You said I remember. You said you was after me for a while. Is that what you said?
Yes.
So we met before. Can you kind of share that story a little bit?
Well, as far as I can remember, I know we had a murder, a homicide on 142nd Street, and you came out. You was asked some question about it, or whatever, you know. And I thought it was kind of, not your business. To be honest with you.
Go ahead.
I said, here's a guy coming in our town, don't have an inkling about what's going on, and then you're gonna try to hate on somebody, you know. So that's the way I remember it.
Wait, you said I was coming in, man, your business hating on you?
Yes. Because all I knew of you getting involved in marches and stuff in the city of Chicago and stuff like that, you know. So I said, why is this guy coming out here trying to hate here and start some mess? So,
and what happened, Mayor Riley?
You left.
Why? Because you said I was hating?
No, you left because I guess you got the drip that you shouldn't be out here.
Mayor Riley, I left because when I came to you, you opened your door and we had a meeting and you gave us understanding of what was going on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't quite remember how it actually went, but I knew we had some people coming out here that wasn't from Dalton. They wanted to enter different things, and, you know, and there was some people putting them behind to do it.
Okay.
To make it bad. Now, let me tell you this. There is no handbook on how to be a mayor, you know? So you try to learn from other situations that happen in other towns, and you reach out to other mayors, ask how we handle this, or vice versa, you know, and you learn from their mistakes.
So let me ask you this question: am I hating now? Like, what do you feel about us coming into Dalton and stirring up all this mess now?
Well, let me tell you this. I'm not sure if I use the word on you, hate, but it is really shameful and sad how the situation is in Dalton right now, because all over the country, all over the world, all you gotta do is pop up on the internet and bam, all this derogatory stuff pops up, you know. And it's really sad situation, and you hate to say you live in Dalton, you know. And I'm not going anywhere. I love where I live. I love the people here. They've been good to me. Of course, you're gonna have some haters, but the residents have been good to me, and I had a couple of medical situations, and I got over 400 cards one time when I was in the hospital, and people praying for me. And I'm be honest with you, I did not open all those cards up. And 2 years later, my daughter said, "Dad, why don't you finish opening all those cards?" I said, "I'm tired of opening all the cards and reading them all." I opened the rest of them cards. I opened about 100 more cards, like 2 years later, and I got over $600 out of those cards. People put money in them. Wow. And that really, really touched me.
That's amazing testimony of the village.
They call me now. I can't go to the post office without having a line of people standing in front of me, talking to me, asking me different questions every day. "Man, why don't you run again? What about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this?" I go to the grocery store at night, so I do not have to stand in line, asking questions about some of the residents. There's good people in it.
And they deserve it. So that means that you don't like or agree with the perception that Dalton has right now with all of this report?
No, I don't. Because it was difficult when I came in. You know, we had $22 million worth of lawsuits. Our prices on the homes were down. You know, they did things the wrong way when they inspected homes. And I had a meeting with 87 realtors came in, and I talked with them. We speeded up the process of closings and different things like that. And we helped those people sell their houses if they wanted to sell their house. But, you know, we had a lot of outside investors that came in just to invest and not make homes for permanent residents. So it's a tough situation when I came in. And then, of course, you got part of the old administration. I won't say the old administration themselves, but followers of the old administration that hated on you and tried to subvert what you were trying to do to make improvements.
Did you improve the economic state of the village?
Yes, we did. When I came into office, we had 17.6% unemployment, and that wasn't by our numbers. That was from the Department of Labor. And we held job fairs. We trained people on space. We had summer jobs for the residents. We went down to 5.6% unemployment. I talked to the new businesses that came in town and said, "You got to hire our people." We had the largest employer in town, had 419 employees, and only 6 people lived in the village of Dalton. I went to them, I said, and they wanted some tax concessions. I said, listen, you're not going to get anything. You have to hire our people. And I mean, from Taco Bell to Dollar Tree, water integrated systems. They hired our people. We went to Thorn Ridge High School, and we trained those students on how to do resumes, how to write resumes and do resumes. We held at least 9 job fairs where we hired over 800 people out of those job fairs. So economic development. When I came in as a trustee, the first thing I did was to go to Springfield and lobby to get that last remaining waste dump in Cook County closed. I brought the governor here. He signed the bill to close that last remaining dump in Dalton. I got statistics from the CDC on the rate of cancer with the residents that lived around those dumps. So, you know, there's a lot of things that need to be done. And I got death threats. When we were averaging 25 homicides a year when I came into office. I closed 2 nightclubs that was responsible for a lot of the homicide and a lot of the shootings. And also as a trustee, I changed the time that these clubs were closing. On the weekend, these clubs were closing at 5 o'clock in the morning. And we had people coming in from outside the city of Chicago that was already drunk, creating havoc in town. So I changed it from 5 o'clock in the morning on the weekend to 3 o'clock on the weekend and 2 o'clock during the week. We found out that most of our murders, our shootings happened after 3 o'clock in the morning. And I changed that. I closed those nightclubs. I started getting death threats. I came home one day. I opened my front screen door. I had 6 dead birds inside my door with a neck cut. That was, I guess, to send a message to me, but that didn't scare me off. You coming from me, come from me. Don't sell no wolf cookies.
Wolf cookies. I haven't heard that in a long time. So I want to ask you a few more things, and then we're gonna let you go. And I appreciate you for coming on, and you always will be welcome on here, especially during the Dalton saga. But I want to play a little game. That game is called Plead the Fifth. If you know legally, if you plead the fifth, you're not given an answer. But I'm going to ask you to grade the current administration, and if you don't want to, you just plead the fifth. So I'm going to say a name. You give me a grade. You ready? Trustee Kiana Belcher.
I plead the fifth.
Trustee Jason House.
I plead the fifth.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Good corporate mind. Knows what she's doing. Knows how a corporation needs to be run.
Trustee Andrew Holmes.
I made a mistake when I asked him to run.
Trustee Edward Steve.
Plead the fifth.
Who am I missing? Trustee Brittany Norwood. Trustee Brittany Norwood.
What's the selection I can say about answering? I'm pleading the fifth because I'm not going to.
Pleading the fifth. Okay. And then last but not least, or maybe he is least, inmate Tiffany Hinyard.
Well, she's not an inmate yet.
Well, I'm just speaking those things to be not as though they were, but you're right. Okay, I'll give her respect. Mayor Tiffany Hinyard.
I plead the fifth.
And Stan Brown, Trustee Stan Brown.
I plead the fifth.
You pled the fifth. And so, got it, respect it. It's your choice and prerogative. I thank you for coming on. And I'm not going to hold you. I'm going to ask you, and I don't see any questions from any of our actual partners. And then I guess, oh wait, here's one partner question, and you can plead the fifth if you want to. But do you want to give enlightenment of why you fired Chief Collins? I didn't know. I didn't even. Did you do that?
Chief Collins resigned.
He resigned.
Yes.
You didn't fire him. He resigned.
He resigned. Yes.
Okay. So tell me about the future of Dalton. If the mayor is or isn't indicted, where does Dalton go from here?
Dalton's going to need a lot of help, and it's going to take a strong mayor to turn this town around, at least get it headed in the right direction. So, just hope for Dalton. Believe me. Dalton is a unique situation. We're sitting right in the middle of 2 interstate highways, I-57 and I-94. We have access to water, rail, and 2 interstates. And, you know, we're sitting in a unique situation. We should have a lot of economic growth here and a lot of businesses come here. But when you have people constantly down in Dalton and some of the actions that are being taken right now, nobody wants to come here and invest here. It's a hard sell to invest. One of the things when I try to bring businesses here, I got on the phone every day calling and begging, asking people to come here, bring their business here. You know, of course, they want concessions and stuff like that. What about the crime? What about the crime? I said, the crime's getting better, you know. But it's so much negative stuff out there, whether it's true or not, that's really hurting the village of Dalton. We got good people here and people that have been here for 20, 30 years, 40 years. And where can they go? Why should they leave? You know, the biggest investment of your life, you buying a home and you've been here for a long time. We got a lot of baby boomers now. How can they get up right now and go find another mortgage and pay for a house up in their age right now for a 30-year mortgage or 15-year mortgage? So it's an excellent place. It just needs a strong leader to turn this place around and get in best economic development here. And it's plenty of land here for economic development and get these business owners to help also. We got some businesses that have been here for a long time. They don't want to go anywhere. They're established, you know, and they start their revenue and their clientele.
Well, I want to thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That is former Dalton Mayor Riley. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on. And again, you're welcome at any time, all right?
All right, good deal.
Well, there you have from Mayor Riley's lips. Here's my takeaway. There's always going to be some haters when you are doing the right thing. Stay ready and speak on facts. Stand on business, right or wrong. Plead the fifth to protect your integrity. Let me know your thoughts below. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel.